Yes, hello everybody, this is Ray from Rays United, and I'm back, people. I'm back. Listen, the past few months have been extremely challenging for Pi Network. Listen, challenging in different ways, but something just sort of clicked, and I realized in a way I may have followed a different path without knowing. So sometimes you need to trail your own self, take a step back, look at things you used to do before, the ones that drew the audience in, truthfully, of course, without following a certain narrative. And I realized that I had to be, um, well, I've always been truthful to you, but I followed a different path, which meant that in terms of Pi Network, I became extremely critical of the Pi core team without looking at certain circumstances, without looking at what could be or what could have been the case or what could have actually caused this so-called delay or non-information or whatever. And then it hit me. It hit me. So listen, I am totally convinced that smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, of course, become a member. Let's watch this channel grow. Let's get to 100K in no time so we can display the plaque without having this blurred background, because the only time I'm going to have a background that is clear is when we have the 100K plaque onwards. Then I'll display that. Else, we're going to see virtual backgrounds, green screens, and so on. When I come back, it's on. All right, I'm back. This is Ray from Rays United. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, of course. Become a member. Let's watch this channel grow. Let's get to 100K. Let's get our plaque, our silver plaque, and let's move forward. So, listen, I am totally convinced that Pi Network is looking in the right direction. I am totally convinced. Now, how did that happen? Well, I've been convinced. I had been convinced prior, and then I had to be convinced again. I had been convinced without any need for convincing. And then, of course, that sort of capacity sort of dissipated. And now it's back. How did that happen? Now I'm gonna list some things to you, or for you to understand why that happened. Because listen, if you're a very critical person, you need extra convincing. You can't just accept things at face value. That makes your decision quite weak, and that makes your acceptance quite questionable. Do you know what I mean? So right now, I believe if the Pi core team is watching, they would know that it's nothing personal. It's me looking for the best of looking for the betterment of Pi Network, and that's it. Because I am part of I'm part of being a pioneer. Do you know what I mean? The words are incoming. Sometimes you lose the etymology, but yeah. So I am extremely or totally convinced that Pi Network is moving in the right direction, and we will need time because and I will tell you two separate things. So if we're looking for, say, short-termism, where people are looking to, get rich quick, then definitely Pi Network is not for you. But if you're looking for a progressive wealth building, and I'm talking about 5, 10, 15, 20 years, then this is where you belong. Why am I saying this? As Chen Fan was speaking at the Token 2049 conference, I've watched it twice or three times now. A particular video that was released, the Pi core team's official one, the clearer one, not the other ones that people had recorded and tried to gain clout from, where the sound quality was extremely poor, which I decided not to even get engaged in. I never listened to it, but I knew Chen Fan had some subjects to talk about. In this case, she spoke about things. She never once mentioned anything about exchanges. I was so happy about that, because I was getting slowly dragged into this whole exchanges thing. And it's wrong. Pi Network was never meant completely for exchanges. It was made for the unbanked. It was made for people who never had access to cryptocurrency and blockchain, and how it could be made simple as opposed to the complications that people have created around it. Do you know what I mean? And the Pi Core team, lo and behold, or for all intents and purposes, have made it a little bit more simplistic as opposed to, say, other cryptocurrencies where everything is so technical. They can't simplify for anyone. I was looking at that, and then I remembered the App Studio, where you will be able to create your own app without having to write a single line of code. No utility would do, no cryptocurrency or blockchain will do that for you. But Pi Network have created that utility where you will be able to create your own app and even have your own domain if you want to. And, it will still work perfectly in future down the line. And listen, nothing is perfect. Pi Network is not 100%. I've been a complete critic, and trust me, I'll remain that, but I will be a little bit more low-toned as opposed to the high-tonedness that I had on them. Because, listen, I've been with Pi Network for over 6 years now, which means I've seen the evolution of Pi Network. So when I'm wishing the best for Pi, I mean that. Do you know what I mean? But for me to be totally convinced, I had to take this conference, had to hear Chen Delfan speak. And trust me, I listened to it 3 times. And I've watched it 3 times. And I've listened to it critically. I'm going to do a video, probably by now. I may have already done the video and released it, or done a live show about it and spoken about it. But right now, as things stand, I can tell you that Pi is moving in the right direction. The Pi Core team have a plan. They do have a plan. And definitely Chen Delfan, particularly, and Nicholas Kokales have created something that I think is about to become a juggernaut. And that will happen with the help of every single pioneer, all 60 million engaged pioneers. There's a difference here. Engaged pioneers, not the apps that have been downloaded by as many as over 100 million in various app stores. Not that. The engaged pioneers, the ones that are actually interacting with the app, the ones that are particularly with the developers, building something. Do you know what I mean? So that is one. So I looked at it and I'm like, okay, short-termism, you definitely are going to look at, well, yeah, the price of Pi is is dwindling and so on and so forth, and is going down. Listen, that is not it. And what actually convinced me the most is looking at BNB, Binance blockchain. Now, I looked at BNB and I looked at it from 2017. It was about 50 cents, 2017. So how many years ago? 8 years ago. Now, how much is BNB? Over $1,100, so about $1,100 as and when I'm doing this video. And that's 8 years down the line. So you're looking at that and you can say, okay, BNB, but you look at Pi would usurp and surpass BNB in terms of its popularity. So we could have anything, but we need to build that utility because BNB, they do have that because their whole blockchain, the number one, they are the native token of Binance, and Binance is the number one crypto exchange on the planet. Do you understand? The most used crypto exchange on the planet, the most secure crypto exchange on the planet. You understand? So if they have a native token, which has moved from 50 cents 8 years ago to over or about $1,100 8 years later, come on. And they do have their own sort of utilities and ecosystem ongoing. Listen, Pi, we've built something. We've built a juggernaut. We've built a phenomenon. And if you want to be part of this, maybe we should stop talking about the price and start building, because the price is artificial. I can see that. We may not get to this prices that people are listing at the moment, but we'll get somewhere in future. It's a long-term project. It's not a mid-term project. It's a long-term project, 5 years onwards, as at when it's launched on exchanges. That was just to see. That was just to give it a measure as to how far Pi could go price-wise. And we know it can go far. We know that. We know that. So let's not look at that. let's hold on to the precious pie that we've mined over the past few years, and let's build with it. Because what Change Alpha said, which I'm going to break down in other subsequent videos, because right now this is just about me being totally convinced that Pi Network is moving in the right direction. So it's up to you. I am not going to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you why I'm convinced about the fact that Pi Network is moving in the right direction. But now it's up to you to think and decide what you want to do. If you want to sell off your Pi, that's up to you, because I'm not doing that. Do you understand? Yes, I sold some of it when the price was close to $3 just to see, but I'm not selling my Pi that I've mined over the past 6 years. That's not happening. Do you get what I'm trying to say? However, please be cautious about the information you consume, because people would always say anything. Okay? I'll see you another time.